All right, so now that you're done with the other lesson, let's look at how to solve factoring equations. So after you factor them, we're going to look at how to solve them. So students will be able to find the zeros from linear factors. Zero is another way of saying you're finding the answer. When you're finding the zero, you're finding the answer. Okay, so remember factoring is when you split something apart. Factors are the pieces that you split it apart into. Greatest common factor is what they all have in common. The sum of a perfect square, you're adding two perfect squares. Difference of perfect squares is when you're subtracting two perfect squares. Now also keep in mind, this is important to remember later, a zero is the same thing as an x-intercept. So just keep that in mind. Write it down if you need to. It's very important to remember later. A zero is the same thing as an x-intercept. All right, so here we go. This should be fairly easy, all right? So to find the zeros, this is after it's already been factored, okay? What you're going to do is split them up. So you have x minus 4 equals 0 and x minus 5 equals 0. They always have to be equal to 0. This whole sheet is equal to 0, but you cannot do this unless it is equal to 0, okay? So to solve this one, you add the 4, add the 4. So we have x equals 4. That's 1, 0. This one, you add the 5. So you have x equals 5. Those are your zeros. Okay? So number 2, we split them up. So n plus 7 equals what? 0. And then n minus 2 equals 0. Okay? So this first one, what do we do? It's adding 7, so we need to subtract 7 from both sides. So we have n equals 0 minus 7 is negative 7. There's your 0. So what do we do here? We need to add that 2 to both sides. Cancels here. So n equals 0 plus 2 is 2. All right? So now let's look at number 3. Number 3, so this one gets a little more different. Okay, so we have c plus 9 equals what? 0. 3c minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so this first one, what do we have to do here? Subtract 9. So we have c equals, what's 0 minus 9? Negative 9. Okay, this one, what do we do first? First, you add the 2. Always add or subtract first. So that cancels. We have 3c equals, what's 0 plus 2? 2. Then we need to do what? This is multiplying, so we divide. What's 2 divided by 3? What's 2 divided by 3? Math, enter. 2 over 3. Okay, so that is your answer. Don't give me decimals. Never, ever. Okay, number 4 looks a little bit different. Can you guess what we're going to have to do here? You still separate them. They're still two separate factors. So we have 2y equals 0 and y plus 11 equals 0. Okay, so this first one, what do we have to do? It's being multiplied, so we divide by 2. What's 0 divided by 2? 0. Okay, and here we need to subtract that 11. So y equals negative 11. All right, number 5. Okay. So number 5, same thing. 3a, oops, sorry. 3a equals 0. And 4a minus 7 equals 0. So here we need to divide by that 3. What's 0 divided by 3? 0. And here, what's our first step? Add the 7. So we have 4a. What's 0 plus 7? 7. And then what? Divide by 4. What is 7 divided by 4? Math enter. It's what? 7 over 4. Last one together. So 2m plus 1 equals 0. 3m plus 10 equals 0. So the first step here is to subtract 1. So we have 2m equals, what's 0 minus 1? Negative 1. And then we need to divide by 2. So m is equal to what? Negative 1/2. Do not forget your negative or it will be counted wrong. Okay, here, what's our first step? Subtract 10. So we have 3m equals, what's 0 minus 10? Negative 10. And then we divide by 3. What's negative 10 divided by 3? Math enter. Negative 10 over 3. Okay, so that's how you're going to do this entire side. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Please bring it by to me to check. Be sure to box your answers so I can see them clearly. All right, good luck.